There's not many highly regarded films based on the legends of Robin Hood. Obviously, you have the 1938 film directed by Michael Curtiz and William Keighley, starring very famously old Errol Flynn. And to some extent, I think it deserves quite a lot of praise. Personally, the 1922 silent epic directed by the seminal Hollywood pioneer, the graceful Alan Dwan, as the only two which will receive much celebration in the wider film discourse. People think of a crummy Disney movie, a crummy Kevin Costner movie, with a great Alan Rickman performance, to be fair, but most of them were probably a crummy Ridley Scott and Russell Crowe movie from 2010, and a crummy movie from 2018 that no one saw, but everyone possibly saw the poster for it on a bus or at a bus stop because no one was going to see it. However, I actually quite like a 1960 Hammer film from Terence Fisher titled Sword of Sherwood Forest, but before that film, and before we get to it, Hammer put out a Robin Hood flick in 1954, directed by Val Guest and starring Don Taylor, who later directed Escape from the Planet of the Apes, yes, wow, the 77 Island of Dr. Moreau film, The Omen 2, and The Final Countdown from 1980. And one which is obviously of its time, seems like something you would have once seen on TV on a weekend or a school holiday midday and thought it was endearing in its own way, only seeing up to like 20 minutes of it and not following it, though it's hardly a particularly unlikable project, really. I actually don't mind the Italian B-genre director Umberto Lenzi's 1962 film based on the Robin Hood stories, titled The Triumph of Robin Hood, and there would be a couple other Italian works based off of the Robin Hood legends. 1960's Robin Hood and the Pirates from Giorgio Simonelli, and 1971's Archer of Fire by Giorgio Ferroni. There is a Russian film, The Ballad of the Valiant Knight Ivanhoe from 1983 and directed by Sergei Tarasov. Ivanhoe is an 1890 novel by Walter Scott which featured Robin Hood, though wasn't its titular character, and was apparently highly influential on the sources which would inspire our modern understanding of the Robin Hood character. There's also an odd comedic Brazilian film which exists from 1974, Robin Hood, or Chapalhau da Floresta, 1974, directed by J.B. Tanco. Ivanhoe itself got an adaptation in 1982, directed by the famous director of some classic Doctor Who serials, Mr. Douglas Camfield, which was made for television and aired both on CBS and ITV in that year, 82. There is a somewhat famous film from 1976, Robin and Marion, starring Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn, directed by Richard Lester. I've never actually seen it, but I might get around to it someday. I've been meaning to watch 1963 Siege of the Saxons, directed by Nathan Juran, who directed 1957's The Deadly Mantis, 57's 20 Million Miles to Earth, a major classic, one of the very best of the Ray Harryhausen films, 58's The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, a major candidate for the very best, 62's Jack the Giant Killer, 64's First Men in the Moon, another delightful Ray Harryhausen classic, and 73's The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. It seems Siege of the Saxons is meant to be a King Arthur movie, but is more like a Robin Hood movie for one or two reasons, apparently. And maybe Time Bandits would count. I do love Time Bandits a lot. Men of Sherwood Forest is likeable enough, doesn't outstay its welcome, wouldn't stand as a major Hammer classic, but I chose to check it out, and it didn't bring down my day, actually contributed to it being a rather pleasant evening even. Thank you all, I hope you're all quite well as you can or could be. I hope you find ways to get even better, even if you are already feeling very well.